Hello everybody, it's Adrian here and welcome back to Let's Play Factorio. We are back and we're going to continue on with what we were doing, which was many things in fact. We just built the fast inserter thing and it was literally going as fast as it could go, which is good. But I don't know what to do now. I said last episode that I was going to actually start making oil, which is probably what I'm going to do. But beyond that, I'm not sure. Okay, so I just remembered what I was planning to do, and that was make the next level of transport belts. Now, this again is going to be the leftovers of what's being produced. So we're going to take the leftover gears and they're going to be, well, turned into these better belts, sorry. So we'll only use one to start off with, but it should be fairly simple. So this takes all the leftovers and just puts it in here. Now, what I'm going to do is with all of these is just put them into the system through a chest. Now this should probably work. I hope it will work, but it basically means I have less to worry about. So we have our first couple belts. Now the problem is, why this is being a bit slow, is that we're not getting enough iron into the system, which is a problem. So we need to up the amount of iron we are producing, which we can quite happily do. So I am going to basically cover this entire patch with, well, mining drills. All of it. So this is going to be completely redesigned to be, well, just cover the entire area. And of course later on we will go to this patch here, which has about 4 times as much iron to mine, which is good. And then this is one down here, and well, ignore that one, and then this one. But this is going to be where we're going to be based for a while. And I'll also want to start walling this in here, because aliens are probably going to start coming in relatively soon, and that is not going to be fun. So I've gotten rid of all the old system, and now I am going to design this ridiculously overkill one. Well, not overkill, especially for late game, but still very big system, which is going to definitely use a lot of power. Like a lot of it. So it is almost done. We just now need to power this thing and put belts where they need to go. I'm also using the brand new belts we just got. These fast belts, which are a bit faster, and it's just to use them, sort of. After a bit of designing, this is what I came up with. It isn't the most efficient thing, but it'll probably work with what we're going to do. It has a lot of stuff going in, and it's very unbalanced at the moment. Now what we need to do is just allow for more resources to go into the system, which at this current point would actually be quite simple. We just need to, well, change this splitter into a thing that can just directly go into these 2 ports. So this one can directly go into here, and this one can go into there. So it should be split, and a lot more resources should be able to go through. And if it needs some more optimization, that's fine. And we can add in an extra splitter to balance these as well. Okay, so this is what I came up with to sort of solve my problem. It's basically a system that, well, first of all, goes into these two perfectly fine. And second of all, well, allows for a lot more to go in. Now, we can only put so much into the system as the way it's designed, without completely redesigning the entire system from scratch, which is currently something I'm not going to be doing. So I'm just hoping that if I put enough into it, it'll work. Like, this is very clearly being backed up at the moment. Now, the best way I feel to sort this is to just take this and not split it off. And just keep these two as two separate entities. Whoops. Like so. So now this means that more iron will be able to get through. Because there are, technically speaking, two systems at work. They're technically two independent systems. But in actuality, they're not. So this means that all mines should be working, and we are going to pretty much get as much stuff as we can. Again, this is as much as we can put in at the moment, because of other reasons. Because, well, we can only put so much iron onto a belt. There are multiple ways to fix this, but at the moment we don't have the resources for any of them. And we are running out of power. I need to go fix that now. So I noticed I was running out of power. So what I've done is add 4 more engines. And one of them wasn't working as well at all because I forgot to put a inserter there. But that's besides the point. We now should be able to make a fair amount of stuff, actually. This is constantly working. This is still going as best as it can. Well, it should have just started up again, to tell you the truth. But now we have almost a completely solid amount of stuff. Like, there can't be any more put into it in terms of this one belt. So I'm going to have to start designing for a second belt, which would be a logistical nightmare. But I'm most likely going to do it. So this is only for the future, and the system will be built around it. But, well, what I need to do here is build this, but allow it to do, well, more. I want this to be a bigger system. So this is going to be redesigned again, and is going to allow for copper as well. So this is just, basically what I'm doing is slowly redesigning everything, which is not a bad thing. So this is what I've designed. It's basically 2 of the same system that I built prior, but just 2 of them. And iron now has a second input, and copper can also have that, which is pretty good, to tell you the truth. And now what I'm going to do is redesign this to also allow for a second input, which would mean everything's on a second input, which is what we want. But this will require some work, as this system was never intended to have that. So I've redesigned this to allow for a second output on this, pretty much. So now iron is separated. So now, technically speaking, we have double the amount of iron that can go through. Technically speaking. So we should be able to see a lot more iron starting to go through if we're doing our job right. But this is, well, there's only a couple more things we can do, and that's just increase the belt speed to allow for iron to get out a bit faster, which is the final thing I'm going to do before I start working on finalizing the oil, which will be, I feel, quite important in the long run. So, I have now upgraded all of this main stuff to fast level stuff, which means now, as you can see, a lot more iron is able to go through and all of the furnaces are working, which is what we want, to tell you the truth. And which means more iron is going to be going into the system, so more stuff can be made. Which is good, to tell you the truth. This is actually very good, what we've done. We've really optimized this system to allow for a lot more stuff. Now, what we need to do is finish designing the oil system and possibly start pumping oil. And maybe start making plastics, because plastics are gonna be important later, I can tell you that much. So I have 21 tanks, and 21 tanks means each of these can have 7 tanks, which is a fair amount. And well, that should hopefully be able to store as much as we need for a long time. But it may not. But it may also be. Most likely it will be. Let's just get a couple of those, couple pipes. Let's make this look good. Because looking good is important. So now these should have enough storage. Now obviously at the moment it's not doing anything because we don't have any oil hooked up, but we are going to start hooking up oil, but it requires a lot of time, a lot of crafting and that type of stuff. And well, we need to figure out what we're going to make. We have unlocked, by the way, blue science packs and advanced circuits, which needs plastic. And plastic comes from, guess what? Oil. So pretty much we need to get oil and develop a system to get everything to work. Now I believe plastics is coal and oil. Okay, so we probably want that up here. Actually, so here will be a plastic setup. Okay, after quite a lot of crafting, I can now finally build these. Like seriously, a lot of materials go into these. But while I was waiting, I had a chance to look at this map, and it can show pollution with this button here, and I can see that we're now starting to reach this nest. So we are going to want to start building the fences, let's just say, because pollution sets off those aliens. And, well, we are now producing enough pollution to set them off. It's going far enough to do that, which is worrying. So I'm gonna start building walls and that type of stuff. And possibly turrets soon. And bullets and all that type of stuff, because that shall be very important very soon. Okay, it's time to connect them. We are now getting oil. Oil is flowing through these pipes, and we are now going to be making our first petroleum, our first plastic. And it will be glorious. Glorious, I tell you. There we go. It's about to happen. Boom, our first oil. And our first stuff is going into here. And we've gotten our first plastic bars. So we technically have the beginnings of a system. now, which is good. But we also have new frets as well. But we're not going to worry about that today. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.